सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। शुकासारिखे पूर्णवैराग्यजासे वसिष्ठा परिज्ञानयोगेश्वराचे कवी वाल्मिका सारिखा मान्य ऐसा नमस्कार माझा तया रामदासा। जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ। गणाधीश जो ईश सर्वा गुणांचा मुळारंभ आरंभ तो निर्गुणाचा नमो शारदा मूळ चत्वार वाचा गमू पंथ आनंत या राघवाचा। जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ. In the tradition, there is a very famous verse in praise of Samartha Ramdas Swami, which I just chanted now, which we will be chanting before every session. The verse says, Shuka sarikhe purna vairagya jache. It's describing Samartha Ramdas Swami, and he says, how was Samartha Ramdas Swami? He says his vairagya was like Shuka Brahmarshi's vairagya. Shuka Sarike, like Shuka Brahmarshi, how he was not attached to anything, he just was reveling in that supreme. Like that, Samartha Ramdas Swami's vairagya was. Vasishtha pari jnana yogeshwarache. And his knowledge was like that of Vasishtha Rishi. Vasishtha Rishi is the Kulaguru of Bhagavan Shri Rama and entire Raghuvamsha. So his knowledge was like Vasishtha. Kavi Valmika Sarikha Manya Aisa. But he was well known and well respected in the world like that of Valmiki Rishi. Kavi Valmiki, we say, is the Adi Kavi, is the first poet. And the first poetry or poem is the great Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, isn't it? So Samartha Ramdas Swami's also fame and respect was like that of Valmiki. Namaskara maza, I prostrate to such Taya Ramadasa, to that Ramadas, Samartha Ramdas Swami, I offer my prostrations. Okay, very, very famous verse. Sometimes Sadguru Ramadasa also in some places. Little Pathabheda is there, but Taya Ramadasa fits into the meter. Sadguru Ramadasa doesn't fit. So that's fine. Taya means to him. To that Ramdas Swami I prostrate. We saw in the last session a brief history of Samartha Ramdas Swami, how as a young boy Narayan Thosar he was born, and then their family was an accountant, therefore called as Kulkarni, and then how the entire life it unfolded in front of him. We saw all that. He ran away from his own marriage, and then did lot of tapasya, Purasharanas he did for Gayatri Devi also, and Purasharanas of Sri Ramanama also he did, and he made this Ramanama Siddha Mantra. And thus we have so many people now chanting this Ramanama, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, and getting benefit of this mantra, which is made Siddha by Samartha Ramdas Swami. Then we saw later on how he met Shivaji Maharaj and inspired him also, guided him on the many spiritual as well as, political matters. And we saw the entire brief history. We also saw how this Manache Shlok, these verses, 205 verses came about. That story also we saw. And first two verses of Manache Shlok we have seen. First verse is of course the Mangalacharana Shloka, where Samarth Ramdas Swami is prostrating to Ganapati, Saraswati, and then saying that prostrations to Sri Ram, on whose path we are walking, towards whom we are walking. So that we saw. Second verse also we saw. Let us chant the verse again and then we will go forward. Second verse together. Mana sajjana bhakti panthe chizave tari shri hari pavijeto swabhave jani nindyate sarva sodo nidyave jani vandyate sarva bhave karave jai jai Raghuvir Samartha. So in this is actually the first verse of instruction to the mind, isn't it? Samartha Ramdas Swami starts by saying, Hey Sajjana Mana, oh my noble mind, please listen what? Bhakti Panthe Chizave. You should always walk the path of devotion. Tari Shri Hari Pavijeto Swabhave. Then only you will have darshan of that great Lord. And as you are walking this path of devotion, in life how you should be? You should walk the path of dharma also. Jani Nindya te sarva sodo nidyave. Give up everything that is criticized, that is censured in the society, which people do ninda of. Please give up all those activities. Jani vandyate sarva bhave karave. And whatever is respected in the world, in the society, you should do it by all means. So this is a very beautiful combination I was mentioning to you in the last session as well, where this devotion in heart and righteousness in action. This combination you please keep in mind, because Samarth Ramdas Swami will be using this combination throughout. He always used to say that in your heart you should have full love for God, but your acharana, your life should be based on dharma alone. Not compromising anything for something else. Right? Not compromising that, for dharma I will compromise on bhakti, devotion. No. And nor are you compromising dharma for devotion. Nothing you are compromising. Right? So that is the beauty of Samarth Ramdas Swami that we see. Now he continues this description, where we'll see the next verse. Very, very famous verse, as I said already. Let us chant third verse together. Prabhate mani Rama chinti tajava पुढे वैखरी राम आधी वदावा सदाचारः थोर सांडू नयेतो जनी तोचितो मानवी धन्य होतो जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ. So beautiful he says, Prabhate, at the very beginning of the day. Prabhata means morning. Prabhate, in the morning. Mani, in your mind. Rama chintita java. You should think of God. First thought of the day should be of God. No, somebody will say, what is a big deal? It is the most difficult thing to do. Our first thought is WhatsApp. We get up with WhatsApp. Those people whose life is very busy, their first thought is, what time is it? What time I have to go? Alarm. Alarm is the first thought. Or those people who have nothing, morning, nothing is there, aram se they have to do. Then the first thought is WhatsApp. So before we get up from the bed, we first check what are all the things that have come. As though, we are Prime Minister of India and so many matters of urgency that we have to look into. That way we look at our WhatsApp. And what is there on WhatsApp? Nothing is there. all kinds of garbage put together in one place is our WhatsApp. Isn't it? Anybody will send any message. And I tell you this, we should be very careful about what we are seeing and what we are taking in early morning. Like that we have to do for whole day, but at least early morning we should be very, very careful about what we are taking in. Let us have this one simple habit of not opening WhatsApp for some time till we finish all our everyday things. Can we just try that also? That itself will bring lots of change in our life. Get up early in the morning, remember Bhagavan, do all your kriyas, morning things and finish your sadhana, and then you see whatever WhatsApp is there, etc. I'm not saying no for all these things, but I'm saying there is time for everything. And psychology says your first thought in the morning depends on your last thought previous night. So whatever you sleep with, that thought continues in your sleep, and that is generally the thought with which you get up in the morning. So when Samarth Ramdas Swami is saying here that Prabhate mani Rama chintita java, you should remember Lord early in the morning, what it means is you should sleep at night remembering Bhagavan. I know so many people who have this habit that as they are sleeping, they keep chanting Bhagavan's name. That is their usual way of falling to sleep. There is one very famous story in Ramayana where Hanumanji has gone to search for Sita ji, and so the whole situation is like this. It is early morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when he reaches Lanka, and he has to search. So it is not yet sunny. The sun has not yet come out. It is just beginning to get some light is coming, but you remember Lanka is of Rakshasas. So what he sees everywhere is all the people are coming back home. Whole night they are spending out, Rakshasas are doing all kinds of things at night. Now they are coming back home to sleep. Okay? And that is when Hanumanji goes and he sees in one house, suddenly one person is waking up and saying Ram, Ram, Ram. And he is stunned. Hanumanji says, what is happening? I am in Ravana's Lanka, and 4 o'clock in the morning when the whole Rakshasas are coming back home to sleep, here is a person who is waking up, and that too remembering Bhagavan. So he goes and finds out who he is. And no wonder that is the house of Vibhishana. And immediately Hanumanji understands that he is a bhakta, he is a devotee. Nobody gets up with the thought of Bhagavan other than devotee. Right? See, Vibhishana didn't have to even tell Hanumanji what his love for Bhagavan Sri Rama is. He didn't even have to tell. And we know the rest of the story. Hanumanji meets Vibhishana and says that you must surrender to Bhagavan Sri Rama. And then goes on and searches for Sita ji and then comes back. Doesn't say anything about Vibhishana. But then later on, after Vibhishana's fight with Ravana, Ravana not listening to Vibhishana and he throws him out of Lanka, Vibhishana comes back, comes to surrender to Bhagavan. That time Hanumanji says, when Bhagavan is asking everybody, what is your opinion? Should we take him into our team or not? And everybody is suspicious. Sugriva is telling, this is Ravana's brother, be careful Bhagavan. Jambavanta is telling, you should not believe in anything. The society has suffered because of believing in wrong people. Lakshmana says we should kill him. Why? He is enemy. And when Sri Rama looks at Hanumanji says, Bhagavan, I will not tell you what you should do. That's not in my capacity to do that. But I will just tell you one thing. He is your devotee. But now you do whatever you want to do. Hanumanji doesn't say what Sri Rama should do, but he just says, he is your devotee. And Bhagavan Sri Rama, at that time when Vibhishana comes and meets, that is the time when that famous shloka Bhagavan says that, even a person who is my enemy, but if he remembers me and surrenders unto me, it is my vow that I will protect that person. There is this beautiful verse is there in Valmiki Ramayana, where he says that I am not remembering the exact verse. It will come. Sometimes in the flow it will not come. So that time, that is the place that Sharanagati, when Vibhishana Sharanagati happens, that is the place Bhagavan Sri Rama says that if you remember me even once, Sakrideva Prapannaya, it came. Sakrideva Prapannaya Tavasmiti Chayachate Abhayam Sarvabhutebhya Dadami Etat Vratam Mama. He says, Sakrideva, even once. You say that I am surrendering unto you, Bhagavan. Tava Asmi, I belong to you, I am yours. If you say this, then I shall protect that person from everyone. Abhayam sarva bhutebhya dadami etat vratam mama. This is my vrata, he says. Right? So you see how that indication happened, how Hanumanji came to know. How Hanumanji? He only saw him waking up with the thought of Sri Rama. That is what Samarth Ramdas Swami says here. Let Prabhate, right in the beginning of the day, early in the morning, think of Rama. Think of Bhagavan. Now, one more thing we have to remember here is, because Bhagavan Sri Rama is Ishta Devata of Samarth Ramdas Swami, therefore he is using that name. Okay? It is not a compulsory on everybody that you should remember Rama only. Not necessary. If your Ishta Devata is Krishna, you remember Krishna. If your Ishta Devata is Shiva, you remember Shiva. Ganesha, Saraswati, Durga, anybody. Whoever is your Ishta Devata, you should remember that. Okay? Our religion is very free, very open. It is not that only one God, one thing, one nothing. You are free to choose. Whatever comes naturally to you, whichever form of God, for whom you have natural devotion, have that as your Ishta Devata, but remember him. That's the whole point. Then what you should do? Pudhe. Thereafter, Vaikhari Rama Adhivadava. Vaikhari means with the speech, you should say Sri Rama. Vadava means you should say it out loud. So first you think of Bhagavan Sri Rama in your mind, mani, and then Vaikhari. Then through speech also, you should take Bhagavan's name. Like doing japa, basically. So you should remember Bhagavan early in the morning, and then you should say it out, chant Bhagavan's name also loudly. There is also one more interesting way of looking at this line. It says, Pudhe Vaikhari Rama Adhivadava. A beautiful interpretation I read in, I think, somewhere I had read, I don't remember now. Maybe Belsareji's commentary, I don't remember. He says, Pudhe Vaikhari, the speech will come later, Adhi Rama Vadava. First you should say Sri Ram. Means what? Before you open your mouth to say anything, you should say Sri Ram and then you should start. Not just in the morning, every time. See, that is our tradition. We say, when we meet somebody, say, Ram Ram, how are you? Kaise ho? All sab theek hai? We start only with Bhagavan's name. This hello, etc. came from outside. When we pick up the phone, we say hello is an outside concept. We used to say Sri Ram only. Jai Sri Ram. That is how we used to address. When we meet people, when we pick up phone, everywhere it is Bhagavan's name that comes first. Like in Chinmaya Mission, we have habit of saying Hari Om. Isn't it? Now, very interesting, this Hari Om is very interesting. Why? You see, it becomes so much habit that whenever you meet somebody, you say Hari Om. Whenever you are going, you say Hari Om. Whenever you pick up phone, you say Hari Om. Hari Om is Bhagavan, remembering Bhagavan, Hari. Vishnu Bhagavan only we are remembering. So like that, Pudhe Vaikhari, the speech will come later. Rama Adhivadava, you should say Bhagavan's name first. So start everything with Bhagavan's name. Now you see what happens because of that is, suppose you want to say something bad, you can't say it because you have said Sri Rama. How bad words will come? Jahan Ram hai, wahan kam nahi. The other things will not come there. See, naturally it will happen. So, Pudhe Vaikhari Rama Adhivadava. And then third thing he says, Sadacharaha Thora. Sandu Nayeto. There you should put comma also. Sometimes no people read without understanding the meaning. Sadacharaha Thora Sandu Nayeto. Are nahi. Sadacharaha Thora Sandu Nayeto. Sadachara is Sat Acharanam. A good lifestyle, good character is great. Thora. Sandu Nayeto should never be given up. Jani in the world, Tochito Manavi Dhanya Hoto. Only such a person becomes a blessing to the world, becomes great in the world through sadachara. This sadachara, I'm already telling you, in every verse you will see where the devotion and righteous life will go hand in hand. So first line said about devotion, isn't it? Mani, Ramachintita Java, Vaikhari Rama Adivadava. You should remember Bhagavan in your mind. You should say Bhagavan's name out loud. And then in your acharana, in your lifestyle, what should be there? Sad acharana should be there. The noble lifestyle, righteous lifestyle should be there. Why? That is going to bring greatness. So that is how Samarth Ramdas Swami says this. Now here, carefully if you see, we have three equipment to perform any action. Action is performed through three equipments of ours. One is called as Sharira, body. Another is called as Vak, speech. And third is called as Manas, mind. Kaya, Vak, Manaha. These three are the equipments that we have. With these three we are doing actions every day. With the body, with the speech and with the mind. Now here Samarth Ramdas Swami has given one sadhana for all three. First one is for mind. He says, remember Bhagavan. See, Prabhate Mani Ramachintita Java. Second one he has given for speech. You should say Bhagavan's name. As japa also, and before starting any speech. Before you say anything, you should take Bhagavan's name. And third one for the body, he has given the sadhana of Sat Acharanam. What is that? Sat is noble. Acharana is lifestyle, behavior. So, Kaya, Vak, Manaha, all these three, with all these three equipment, you purify it and then you live the life. Right? So, that is what. So, use all these three equipments for his service only. That's the whole purpose of mentioning this. Let us chant the verse again and then we will go forward. Prabhate Mani Ramachintita Java Pudhe Vaikhari Ramadhi Vadava Sadacharaha Thora Sandu Nayeto Jani Tochito Manavi Dhanya Hoto Jai Jai Raghuvira Samartha. Now, I told you in the last session, that is our first session, I told you that these are all independent shlokas. These are independent verses. But because they are in this order, we always find some kind of connection in all these shlokas. They are all independent. They can be chanted independently, each one to its own. But there is a little bit of connection also which we see. We are not going to hard and fast make the connection, but we see some places that connection will be shown. So now we see next 7 to 8 shlokas. Again, this spiritual and righteous living is put together by Samarth Ramdas Swami. And he says, you should be spiritually righteous. This is a very interesting concept which is there, which as the verses go on, I will explain it further. You should be spiritually righteous. So that is the topic which he now takes up. Let us chant. Verse number 4. Mana vasana dushta kama nayere Mana sarvatha papa buddhi na kore Mana dharmata niti sodu na koho Mana antari sara vichara raho Jai Jai Raghuvira Samartha. Now you can see every pada, every quarter of the verse is starting with mana. Mana. What is this? Oh mind. What? First one. Mana vasana dushta kama nayere. Again, two ways to look at this line. Mana dushta vasana kama nayere. Bad desire. Dushta means wicked desires. Kama nayere. You should not cherish, you should not linger on to that. Mana sarvatha papa buddhi na kore. Mana, oh my mind, sarvatha. By all means, you should never have what? Papa buddhi. Papa buddhi? Sinful thinking. What do you mean? Sinful tendency. You should not keep on thinking about doing wrong. Papa buddhi na kore. Mana dharmata niti sodu nako ho. Oh my mind, sodu nako. Don't leave what? Dharmata and niti. Don't leave the path of righteousness and goodness. Mana antari sara vichara raho. Inside, in your heart, in your mind, please have this sara vichara. You should have right thinking. Sara is essence. You should think of the essence. What is that essence? That highest supreme reality. You should think of that before doing anything. Right? This is the simple meaning. Now let us go into it. Mana vasana dushta kamanayere. You should not entertain a bad desire, a sinful desire. Why? Because then that will create papa buddhi. See, if we want to control our mind, we must understand our mind and what is causing what. It is very easy to say that I am disturbed. But the question you need to ask is, why are you disturbed? What have you done because of which you are disturbed? So here is now the analysis of the mind. How mind makes us do wrong things. He says it starts with dushta vasana. You start thinking about sinful or wicked desires. Wicked means what? Selfish and hurting other people. Those kind of desires, when they are there, impressions which are there, vasanas are there, they lead to papa buddhi. They lead to papa buddhi means what? They lead to us doing wrong, wishful, sinful thinking. When we have wicked desires will come on the level of mind as thoughts which are sinful. Okay, those of you who are well aware of Pujya Gurudev's BMI chart, famous BMI chart of Swami Chinmayananda. Om is written, then V, then BMI, PFT, OET. I am not going to explain the entire chart. You can go Vivek Chudamani. When I was taking, you can see there is one complete session on BMI chart explanation. I am not going there, but just trying to make you remember this. V is the vasana. That vasana impression results in the level of intellect or in intellect as desires. These desires brings thoughts into mind and that forces actions on the level of body. So my impressions create desires. Those desires create thoughts and those thoughts put me into action. So if I am going to have wicked desires because of impressions which are bad, then those wicked desires are going to create sinful tendencies, sinful thoughts. And then what will I do? I will do unrighteous thing. Now to stop this, that is why he in three different quarters, he explains this. First he says is mana vasana dushta kamanayere. In second he says sarvatha papa buddhi nakore. And then in the third one he says dharmata niti sodu nako. All the three instructions are in negative terms. What we should not do. But understand the logic, the logical flow of it. If there are dushta vasanas, then there will be papa buddhi. And if papa buddhi is there, we will do adharma and aniti. And therefore Samarth Ramdas Swami is saying, you give up this dushta vasana first, give up papa buddhi and walk the path of dharma. That is the point that he is saying. And all these things, why you should do? Sara vichara raho. Through logical thinking you should do all these things. Now this is something that we all must reflect on very, very carefully. You see, many people don't do wrong things. Okay? But not always the reason behind not doing wrong things is right. What do you mean? Guruji always, Swami Tejomananji always says one thing, that somebody came to him and he said, Guruji, you know what? I never take bribe. I am not corrupt person at all. I never take bribe. You know why? Why? Because nobody is offering me. Most of the times our goodness is because we don't have chance to do bad things. Think about it. We are not in the position of power where we can do anything and get away with it. We don't have that much freedom and capacity to do wrong things also. Now, this kind of goodness is actually forced goodness. Because you can't do bad, therefore you are good. So the moment you get power, you never know what you will do. So we say, I am a very balanced person, I am a very nice person. That is because we don't have option. The real test of our character will come when we have power, when we can do something wrong, but we refuse to do it. That shows the character. So the basis of our dharma, our righteous living, should be thinking. I should avoid doing wrong because it is wrong. Full stop. Don't give any other reason. If we are searching for any other reason, then that means we are not convinced that it is wrong. And therefore we want to know this reason or that reason. No, I will not do it because it is wrong to do that. Full stop. This is called spiritual righteousness. Please understand the difference. There can be many people who will walk the path of good, but not always they will. See, those people who walk the path of good even because of any reason are much better than those who are walking the path of bad. There is no comparison to that, okay? I am not saying that they are bad. I am saying there are bad, there is good, and there is best. Samarth Ramdas Swami is pointing us to that best. He says this dharma that you should follow, that niti that you should have, should come from your right thinking. Thinking of what? Sara vichar. Thinking of that essential truth. It should come from there. So why I should avoid dushta vasana? Because it is bad. Why I should not do papa buddhi? Because it is bad. Don't give any other reason. Don't say that dushta vasana, I am avoiding because Vedji, what is the point in thinking? Anyways, I can't do. That means when you will get capacity to do it, you will do it. No. Think about it now itself and understand why I am not doing it. I remember, and I always thank all such people in my life. When I was in 9th standard, there was a physics teacher who used to teach us science, physics, chemistry, everything. He said one very nice thing, and I still remember it. 9th standard, you can imagine, 14, 15-year-old boy. So many things are happening around. Okay, there are so many of my friends getting into bad habits. That is the age, 9, 10 standard. Then you are exposed to college life, etc. He said one very nice thing, that teacher, which I remember and I always followed it. He said, please understand, not everything in the world you should do. This is the age where you will start to think that let me try doing this, let me try doing that. He said, it's not necessary. People will fool you also. Your friends, etc. will say, smoking is good only. Try it once. What is the problem? You should try. Everything in life you should try. He said, no, that is a wrong philosophy. Not everything in life you should try. Those who say so, ask them to jump from the 3rd floor and say that try jumping from 3rd floor. When the rickshaw or the bus or the truck is coming, tell them to go in front and let us try that also. Why? You know there is a danger here. You know it need not be tried. So be aware of all those dangers which will not appear dangerous in the beginning, but later on they will be dangerous. Therefore, not everything in the world you should do. See, why I am not doing it? Not because I never got a chance. I am not doing it because it is wrong to do it. This should be our reason to say no to adharma. Sara vichara, the spiritual base, spiritual thinking should be basis for dharma. This is very, 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 very important point. So, spiritual righteousness, that's what he is talking about, and that he brings on all levels. He says, first is your level of intellect, keep your thinking on that highest, which will keep you inspired and therefore you will not think of something lower. Dushta vasana will not be there, papa buddhi will not be there, adharma aniti will not be there. That is what you should do, right? That's what he says here. One more, just a small difference between the word dharma and niti. Many times people use these words in synonymous way, but there is a slight difference. It actually, dharma is much broader word, as you might have realized by now. Dharma doesn't mean religion. First of all, let us clarify it. In the Vedas, etc., when the word dharma comes, it is not in the meaning of religion, because Vedas don't understand the concept of religion. Okay, our culture is not the culture which understood the present day concept of Semitic religions which is there. That concept was not there in our culture. Therefore, dharma word is not used as in the sense of religion. Dharma, basically what it means is what is right for me. That is called as dharma. And that right for me is translated as righteousness. Therefore, one meaning of dharma, see, dharma is a word which you can't really translate into English, but one of the meanings that can be given is dharma is righteousness. Different definitions of dharma you will find in different places. In Jaiminiya Sutra you have one definition, in Bhatta Sutra you have another definition. Shankaracharya ji himself gives one definition in Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. Dharana dharma. Basically, the word comes from dhru dhatu. Dhru means to hold, to uphold. That is what the word dharma comes from. And dharma means right. Basically, it means right. Now, what is the difference between dharma and niti? Actually, niti comes within the purview of word dharma, but there is a slight difference, as I said, which can be made. Dharma, you can say what I must do, and niti is what must be done. So it is more like dharma is personal. I am putting myself into the situation and then taking a call, and niti is more like a rule which is impersonal. Let me give you an example, then you will understand. There will be, when the constitution etc. is being made, there will be duties and rights which will be written for everyone. So let us say there is a MLA. Okay, elected MLA is there. Then what are the rights? What are the duties? MP, member of parliament. What are the rights? What are the duties? Prime Minister, President. And for everyone, all of us as the people of the nation, we also have our duties and rights. Now, all those which are mentioned there are niti. What must be? Now, what becomes dharma? We have to put ourselves into that situation and take out what is my dharma. Are you understanding the difference? Dharma and niti. Dharma is more like what I must do. Niti is more like what must be done. Okay? As I said, this niti will come in the purview of dharma only. What must be done will be in connection with what I must do. There will be some connection, but there might be slight changes here and there. So, dharmata niti sodu nako ho. We must not leave this. That is what Samarth Ramdas Swami is saying here. Vasana dushta. Now, there is another way of looking at the first line I was telling you. Mana vasana dushta. Dushta vasana is one way of looking at it, by saying that it is dushta becomes adjective. And you say you should give up bad vasanas, bad desires. Another way of looking at it is mana vasana dushta. All desires are bad only. Which? All desires are bad? Yes. Only the degree of badness and worst, etc., that may differ, but all desires are like that. Oh, but desire for God, etc., is a good desire. Yes, comparatively good desire. Comparatively? Comparatively, you want fridge. Better is you want God. Better. As compared to that, this is better. But still it is a desire. In the ultimate analysis, every desire takes us away from our nature. Okay? I want. Gurudev used to say, no, I and I want. This is the entire Maya. What is Maya? I and I want. Therefore, I want. Even if you want God, that is also one kind of obstacle only. But as I said, it is much better than having some bad desires for worldly things, etc. Even worse desires are what when I want to hurt somebody, when I want to disrupt somebody's peace, etc. That's even worse. So there are degrees, but all vasanas are dushta. That is one way of looking at this verse as well, which Samarth Ramdas Swami points out. Let us chant the verse again and then we will go forward. Now this particular idea which he has mentioned in this verse, he is going to elaborate in next 5-6 verses. Alright, let us chant this verse once and then next verse also. Mana vasana dushta kama na yere, mana sarvatha papa buddhi na kore, mana dharmata niti sodu na koho, mana antari sara vichara raho, jai jai Raghuvira Samartha. Verse number 5. Mana papa sankalpa sodo nidyava, mana satya sankalpa jivi dharava, mana kalpana te na ko vishayanchi, vikare ghade ho jani sarva chichi, jai jai Raghuvira Samartha. Beautiful. Another verse. He says, Mana, oh my mind, what? Papa sankalpa sodo nidyava. Again, papa is sin. Sankalpa, thought or desire for sin. Papa buddhi, earlier it was said. Papa sankalpa sodo nidyava. How? Mana satya sankalpa jivi dharava. You should have desire for truth. Desire for that reality. That is what you should replace it with. Mana papa sankalpa sodo nidyava, mana satya sankalpa jivi dharava. Now let us think about it a little bit. See, mind needs to have some kind of replacement. Without the concept of replacement, mind does not work. Let me give you example. When you keep on giving negative instructions to the mind, mind tries to do exactly what you told it not to do. Simple demonstration. I will say one sentence, you have to follow the instruction. Okay, are you ready? Okay, are you ready? Don't think of monkey. What happened? See, so far in the class for last 40-45 minutes, you were not thinking about monkey. But the moment I gave you instructions, don't think of monkey, what did your mind do? Thought of monkey. Another, let us see. Don't think of pen. What happened? Again you thought of pen. So if we keep on giving instructions to mind, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, mind will not understand. Mind doesn't understand negative instructions. So what we must do, if you are saying that I should not have sinful desires, sinful thoughts, then what? I must bring positive replacement for the sinful thoughts. Gurudev's explanation, he says substitution, wise substitution is necessary. Introspect daily, detect diligently, negate ruthlessly, substitute wisely. That's what he says. When you negate a negative, whatever negativity is there in the mind, when you remove it, you have to replace it. Substitute it. Wise substitution should be there. Wise substitution, okay? Not that one bad thought I am replacing with another bad thought. That is not wise substitution. I have a very bad habit of smoking, but now I stopped it. How? I started drinking. Oh, very good. So one bad habit I removed by adding into another bad habit. That's not the way to do it. So what is said here? Papa sankalpa sodo nidyava. How? Satya sankalpa jevi dharava. That's why Samarth Ramdas Swami starts by saying Prabhatevani Rama chintita dava. You replace your negative, sinful tendencies, thoughts, desires, etc. with the thoughts of God, with the thoughts of that reality, with the thoughts of Satya. See, what we keep in our mind, that is how we become. Very well known philosophy. As the mind, so the man. As the mind, so the person. How we look, how good we are in our brain, etc. That matters very less in life. How you are, what kind of person you are, that's what matters, and that depends on what kind of mind do I have. Earlier we were seeing the example that if we are going to take everything that is negative, nowadays with this social media, etc., the line between what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad has become very thin. Because in the name of goodness, we are consuming lot of bad things. No doubt this online social media, YouTube, etc. is a blessing. I am not saying no. But what it also exposes us to is a very easy access to wrong things. Earlier, it was difficult to get into wrong thoughts. You have to go to some shop and purchase bad book and then read it. Isn't it? To think of some bad things. Today, it is very easily available. Now, when it is easily available, the responsibility lies with us now. It's very important what is it that we are taking it in. What kind of messages are we reading? What kind of videos are we watching? What kind of reels are we watching? We have to be very careful. Why? Because every single thing that is coming to us is having impact on our mind. And as the mind, so we will be. So in order to be good, we have to give good content to our mind. That's very important. You know that famous 3 monkeys of Mahatma Gandhi, no? You must have seen, no? Eyes closed, ears closed, mouth closed. Have you seen those 3 monkeys? Bura mat dekho, bura mat suno, bura mat bolo. Don't see bad things, don't hear bad things, don't speak bad things. Now in our culture, the same thing is given in a positive term. Om bhadrang karnebhi shrunuyama devaha, bhadram pashyema akshabhir yajatraha. Isn't it? The same thing is explained in the positive things. What? You must hear what is auspicious. You must see what is auspicious. You must speak what is auspicious. Satyam vada, dharmam chara. That is what we are being told. Right? So, it is very important for us what is the content that we are taking in. I remember when I was in Pune, maybe in first year engineering maybe, one day I was having conversation with Swamiji, Swami Siddheshanandji there, and I just asked him one casual question. I said, Swamiji, you don't read newspaper? So Swamiji said, no, I don't read newspaper. So I said, Swamiji, why? That was the initial time when, not many people were there. So I was staying alone with Swamiji, and I said, Swamiji, why you don't read newspaper? He said, my mind is not a dustbin to put garbage in. And that, I tell you, created a big impact on my life. He said, you have to be extremely careful about what you are taking in. He says, news is good, but newspaper may not be good. We know what kind of newspaper we have nowadays. Take 15 years back, it was similar. All kinds of negativity is filled there. So what he used to do, I remember, he used to listen to that 5-minute news on radio, which comes. You remember? On Vivid Bharati, etc. That 5 minutes, 6:55 to 7, in Sanskrit it used to come. So I remember Swamiji opening that website and listening to that Sanskrit news for 5 minutes. 2 things happen. Sanskrit also keeps getting refreshed, and you come to know also what is essential. And they have to deliver the entire news of the entire country in 5 minutes. You can imagine, all the garbage is left aside and the essential things are said only. He said, you have to be extremely careful. I tell you, since second year of engineering till now, I never read newspaper. I don't read newspaper. And nothing bad has happened to me. And that was the time when everybody was telling, you must read newspaper, it should become your habit, you have to give competitive exams, etc. I said that I will manage. We'll manage, nothing, no problem. Why? You have to be extremely careful what are the things that we are taking in. When we keep on reading about negative people, about negative incidences, about negative things, our mind is going to become negative. What kind of movies do you watch? What kind of videos do you watch? What kind of books do you read? It is all going to have an impact. Don't say that, no, Veji, that is only for entertainment. Or that entertainment is creating an impact on you. Now don't go to other extreme and say that such movies should be banned, and don't try to change the world. Why you want to censor them or what they should? You decide what you want to see. When you know certain kind of movie is not good for you, stop watching. Why are you watching? Be very careful. Why? Because all these things that are going in will create such sinful tendencies in our mind and they will come out. What goes in comes out, isn't it? Simple logic. So, papa sankalpa sodo nidyava. Mana satya sankalpa jivi dharava. You should always have good thoughts. Mana kalpanate nako vishayanchi. In the spiritual path, desire for worldly object itself is a sin. Please understand the difference. When you are living a worldly life, to desire something worldly and to get it righteously is not bad. For example, I am living a life, I am married and I want a TV, I want AC, I want house. Good. As long as you are going by the path of dharma and procuring all these things, good, no problem. But when you are following spiritual life, you should question that desire and saying, do I really need it? Mana kalpanate nako vishayanchi. You should not think about world of objects. Very famous verse from Bhagavad Gita is there. No, dhyayato vishayan pumsa. When we start thinking about worldly objects, sangasteshu upajayate, we create attachment with them. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. From that attachment comes desire that I want it. Kamat krodho bijayate, and when it is not fulfilled, you become angry, etc., etc. It flows. It all starts where? Thinking about the world of objects. Be very careful about what you are doing. This window shopping, very dangerous. Very dangerous thing. Window shopping, you know window shopping? Just go from there and from the window you see everything, don't buy anything and come. You may not buy anything now because you don't have money, but it has created an impression. You have gone there, you have seen it and you have said, this is nice. I wish I could buy. So the moment you get money, what are you going to do? You are going to go to the same shop and buy the same thing. And today the window shopping has come to our home through online. I don't want anything, but I'm just seeing what all things are available. If you start just seeing, just scrolling, things will get registered and you will start purchasing. I tell you, these marketing people, etc., they know our mind tendencies and they entice us with all these techniques. They want to sell a bike. To sell a bike, what they will do is, they will get a actor, hero, star. Then that hero is standing next to the bike. Nobody is looking at the bike. Everybody is looking at the star. Through the star, you have got connected to the bike. Now what? Now I want the same bike that Hrithik Roshan is advertising. Not that he is using it. In the childhood, etc., I used to think that Aishwarya Rai, Madhuri Dixit, all of them use Lux. And that is how they are fair. Afterwards, I understood that this advertisement has nothing to do with their personal life. But that is how they will do. They will put such actresses, etc. You want skin like this, then you start using this soap. Now what? You forget. Because you like the actress, you start watching the advertisement. Now what? Through the actress, you have got connected to the soap. Now you want the soap. You see how they are misusing our mental problem? Now what? Be more clever and you say, I don't want it. No, but I am giving you 10% discount. Yeah, you keep it to yourself. Why? Because I don't want it. See, the reason is not that it is very expensive. If that is the reason, then we are waiting for money to buy it. No, the reason is I don't want it. I don't need it. But what is the problem? No, only one. No, I don't want it. Mana kalpanate nako vishayanchi. Why you should do like this? Because when we have desire for sense objects and when there are obstacles in our path to attain that sense object, we will do wrong things. A generation of people have been shown wrong way of approaching a girl for marriage and getting it. All our movies used to show that boy looks at girl and says that I want this girl and at any cost I will get it, and then big dramas etc. were made based on this. अगर तुम किसी चीज से शिद्दत से प्यार करो तो पूरी कायनात तुमको उसको मिलाने की साजिश में, all kinds of nonsense they say that if you love something very dearly and you have strong desire for it, then the entire world conspires for you to get that thing. That is true, and that's why you have to be extremely careful. Whatever you are going to desire will remain in your mind will start working for it, and one day you will get it. So be careful what are you desiring. Otherwise it will happen that anything I could have got, but I got some stupid thing. Why? Because my desire was there for it. Be careful. Mana kalpana te nako vishayanchi. Why? Vikare ghade. And then when vikara happens, when you do wrong things to get that object, get that thing, get that person, get that situation, whatever, jani sarva chichi. Then what? The entire world will say chi. What a useless fellow. Don't we see? Empires have fallen because of one stupid desire of the king. True or not? Am I exaggerating? One wrong thing and that person became so obsessed with it and lost everything that the person had. And why should we go just for history etc.? We see in our own life that's what has happened. See, I'll give you a simple example. When in young days etc., when we have love for somebody, we use one term. We say, I have fallen in love. Don't we use this term? That I have fallen in love. Which means what? You were better before, now you have fallen. You know it. And not just in English, in all our mother tongues. मैं प्यार में गिर गया, प्यार में पड़ गया, प्रेमात पड़लो. You see, I have fallen. Why? Because what standards I had for myself set, now for this person to whom I am attached, I will compromise on all those standards. It is not the fault of that person, that object or that situation. It is not the fault of them. It is my fault. Why? Because I have created that kind of attachment. And when I will do like this, what will the world say? Arey, what has happened? Such a nice fellow, he had everything, but look what he has done with his life. Vikare ghade ho jani sarvachichi. So therefore what you should do? Papa sankalpa sodo ni dhyava, satya sankalpa jeevi dharava. Give up all the sinful desires and always have these thoughts which are higher thoughts, which are thoughts of reality, thoughts of truth. Why? Because as our thinking, so will be our actions. Just now we saw the entire logic also. No? Impressions create desires. Desires create thoughts. Thoughts create actions. And therefore, we should be extremely careful. Mana kalpana te nako vishayanchi. Do not be careful what we take in. Don't let the mind become dustbin. And even desire for so-called good objects in long term, in a larger picture, is still an obstacle, and therefore we should give up. If we are walking the path of spirituality, desire for every object outside is a bad desire. Okay? That he says. Now what? Now in the next verse he explains how this desire, manifold manifestations of the desire, how it manifests in many ways. What all things happen? What are all the negativities which are born? The famous concept of Shadripu, the 6 enemies that we have, will be discussed in the next verse. We will see in the next session. Vikare gade ojani sarva chichi. Chichi means, how do you say? It is a kind of expression, no? Very bad. That kind of expression. Chichi is sha. What has happened? In all your regional languages, this chichi will be there in different way. So the entire world starts to criticize you. Why? Because of kalpana, vishayanchi kalpana. Because of the desire and thinking for the object, you have done wrong thing. Vikare ghade. You have done a wrong thing, and therefore the whole world will then make fun of you and will feel that what this person has lost, right? That's the meaning. Sufficient for today. Remaining we will do in the next session, next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.